You have access to something that no one else has seen before.
Serendipity, I guess.
Though the federal government would have you believe that this is a view of Earth from a distance out of the spacecraft's window as it nears the moon, it is not. What they have ingeniously done is placed the camera at the back of the spacecraft and centered the lens on a circular window in the foreground.
Turn the camera on, please.
As they perfected the shot, a crescent-shaped piece of black material was inset slightly into the window to create the illusion of the Earth's terminator line dividing night and day. It is uncannily convincing.
If you show this publicly, you're open for a lawsuit.
Here is the diffused work light that they used to see camera controls, but not throw light onto the spacecraft's wall. Finally, the iris is opened up, and you can see the real location of the camera and the very bright and near Earth out the window.
You're talking to the wrong guy. Why don't you talk to the administrator at NASA? We're passengers. We're guys going on a flight.
Now maybe we could say they faked the moon landings. But what about every single space agency after this? We're putting our trust in people to be honest and show us exactly what they're seeing. They would have no reason to lie about going to space, being on a space station. But that's where things start to get even weirder, because we're catching them making big mistakes. They're having CGI glitches. Their wire harnesses are not working correctly. If you do enough searching, you will find clip after clip of NASA fails. These people messing up in the middle of what's supposed to be a live feed, because even with the best technology, things screw up.
So many times during spacewalks outside the International Space Station, we can see air bubbles rising up. Can you touch on how there are air bubbles in space?
Can you be more specific? Air bubbles?
So yeah, like a lot of times during the footage, the NASA footage, you can see bubbles coming up out of the helmets or kind of from underneath you. How do you explain bubbles in space?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about. Now sometimes you get water in the helmet, and it's either from sweat or from the cooling garments. And in some of my spacewalks, I had like water in the helmet, not like I was going to drown in the helmet, but just little bits of water probably came from sweat. Often on the outside of the space station, you'll liberate little pieces of, it's a really harsh environment out there, and the outside of the space station gets beat up pretty good. And sometimes, you'll see just little flecks of paint or something that you might have disrupted floating away from the suit. And, that's generally what that is. I've never seen any kind of air bubble anywhere.
Yeah. Could it be that you're filming in an underwater pool and you're not really out there?
Now, you and I could put this whole thing to rest ourselves by going to space. Civilians could go to space. They've been promising us this for years. We can just take a rocket and go to space, right? They are working on it as we speak.
In a year's time. In the last few months.
Early next year. Very few months.
Sometime next year.
By the end of the year, we should be taking members of the public into space.
By the mid-2030s.
By 2020.
Early in the next decade.
Before 2023.
And by 2025.
Most certainly in our lifetime.
That's 2024.
We should have a permanently occupied human base on the moon and send people to Mars.
It's going to grow old if we don't start flying next year.
We'll return Americans to the moon for the first time since 1972, if you can believe that.
With our hopes of ever going to space continually burning to the ground, we're left with no other option but to take the pictures of Earth that NASA gives us.
I don't want to fool you here. Last month, for the first time since 1972, NASA released a blue marble, a single snapshot of the Earth taken from outer space.
NASA's Rob Simon made this, and it had wide appeal too. For example, it ended up as the default background on the iPhone.
I didn't even know until I bought an iPhone and turned it on and kind of did a little happy dance.
Simon's job is...
It's primarily taking data and making pictures out of it.
That's what this is, a composite of data sets from several different instruments translated into a picture.
A single snapshot of the Earth taken from outer space.
To us, the really cool thing was the data set. Up until that point, there was no realistic color map of the globe anywhere.
There's artistry to creating the world.
What I imagine it to be. Unfortunately, I'm not an astronaut. I've never been to space. But I've looked at these images over and over again, trying to sort of get the essence of it. It is photoshopped, but it's
So then all of a sudden the United States and Russia engaged in these high-altitude nuclear tests, and the United States calls theirs Operation Dominic, within which we have Operation Fishball. Look up the name Dominic from the late Latin name Dominicus, meaning of the Lord. Fishball was part of Operation Dominic. It looks like they are sending high-altitude nuclear bombs to test the fishbowl of the Lord, i.e. the firmament.
You can tell it's real because it looks so fake, honestly.
I was talking with a gentleman from Belcom, and we were discussing the lie. Everything he was telling me was different from what we were being told was the truth. And at one point I asked him, I said, man, you guys, you lied about a lot, didn't you? And instantly he said, no, we didn't lie about certain things. We lied about everything. None of it was true.
And also when we, against the orders of President Truman, when Allen Dulles brought in all the Nazi scientists and so forth, they went to two places. They went to CIA and they went to the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, which in our world we call it not a space agency. And as Kathy O'Brien has said so clearly, that's where the bulk of the mind control has been done.
The spacesuit has replaced the cowboy outfit of an earlier year. And the dream of a rocket trip to some distant planet has outdated the old-fashioned desire.
You know, once you start paying attention and have an open mind, pay attention. Worst footage ever.
I asked friends, what is that thing over Disney World. So I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, what is that? I'll tell you what that is. It's a dome. I was like, is it just that? No. Disney World is under a dome. And right now you got just trust me, right? Trust me for a little bit. Trust me for a little bit. Because right now you're thinking, oh, Big Bear, that's simply a rainbow, or maybe it's a fairy wings. That is a dome. And why does it matter? Why does that matter? Why does all this dome imagery matter? Because Walt Disney was best friends with Wernher von Braun, the guy who started NASA, the guy who designed the Saturn rocket that allegedly went to the moon. We never went to the moon. Oh, that's just one picture? No. Walt Disney and Wernher von Braun were literally best friends. They worked together all the time. Why is that important? Oh, Wernher von Braun was a scientist who built the Saturn rocket that got us to the moon. On his tombstone, Wernher von Braun has one thing, Psalm 19:1. Well, what does that mean, Big Bear? I'll tell you. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. The firmament is a dome. That's interesting. How do people not find this interesting? The Disney symbol is the world under a dome. Disney was best friends with the guy who said, quote unquote, to get to the moon, we would need a rocket ship the size of the Empire State Building and then refuel. There was no way they were getting to the moon. Wernher von Braun was a genius Nazi that we got from Operation Paperclip, and he's the father of NASA, right? He's also best friends with Walt Disney. And on his tombstone is one biblical passage, just one. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Firmament is a dome.
For that treaty. Is it possible that we're living in that Truman Show today? We're living on the flat earth with the dome, the firmament. As we start to look around us, we start to wake up, our eyes open, maybe that third eye opens, we start to understand, wow, this isn't what I thought it was. Maybe instead of being a worthless blob of goo that came from nothing and then developing into apes that were oohing and ahhing and then eating bananas like a bunch of idiots, maybe instead of that, we actually are the center of the universe. Maybe we are special. In fact, maybe there is unbelievable evidence of creation. But the government has decided to hide that from you. Why?
It'll take a long time, a real long time. What if you get all the way up there and there's nothing?
What if there's everything?
Timon? Yeah? Ever wonder what those sparkly dots are up there?
Dad?
ocean itself down into the stadium. Oh, Simpson just broke this dream's reality wide open.
To break the big, hard glass ceiling.
Jimmy, let's help her out here. Let's break the glass ceiling.
Glass dome.
Earth is not a closed system.
Gas dome.
The Earth is a closed system.
Glass dome. Get it? Glass dome, gas dome. Are you with me?
And we're going to remove the barrier. The gas is going to fill the available volume. Take a gas, and over here is going to be vacuum, and we're going to remove the barrier. You know what's going to happen spontaneously, right? The gas is going to fill the available volume, fill the available volume, fill the available volume, fill the available volume.
I tend to think that this is more what our Earth looks like. It's not correct, obviously, but to me it makes sense that we would be living in an enclosed system. I mean, if you have a pet or anything, you make them. What do? You make them a nice little habitat, something that's going to protect them from anything that could possibly come from the outside, right? So I feel like this is probably our habitat.
Is it possible that we're living in that Truman Show today? We're living on the flat Earth with the dome, the firmament. As we start to look around us, we start to wake up, our eyes open, maybe that third eye opens, we start to understand, wow, this isn't what I thought it was.
We cannot leave the Earth.
Hey everybody, this is ODD. I have good news and I have bad news. The good news is, I spent the past couple of days tracking down every piece of media that I could that pertains to the moon landing hoax, and we're gonna go over all of it. The bad news is that no matter how obvious it was that they staged the moon landings, and no matter how many times they rub it in our faces in the mainstream media, many people have been bamboozled into believing that landing on the moon 6 times in the span of 3 years is entirely possible. They also think it's reasonable that we haven't even thought of going back in over 45 years. And the fact that NASA has repeatedly admitted that we can't go past low Earth orbit.
This next generation spacecraft will enable America to explore beyond low Earth orbit.
We must solve these challenges before we send people through this region of space.
Right now, we only can fly in Earth orbit. That's the farthest that we can go.
The kinds of technologies that we're testing out on Space Station are definitely helping us with our goals of going beyond low Earth orbit.
Early in the next decade, a set of crewed flights will test and prove the systems required for exploration beyond low Earth orbit.
Isn't the slightest bit worth worrying about. And by the way, this is the reason why my channel slogan is where sci-fi and fantasy merge with reality. A lot of people misunderstand it and they think that I'm trying to discredit myself right away by saying that like what I'm talking about is fantasy and sci-fi, so it's all fake. What it means is they show us tons of truth in movies, TV shows, video games, etc., but they pass it off as complete fiction, and my videos is where that truth finds its way back to the real world. I like to say anyway. A lot of people make good videos about movies and media and whatnot. As a hardcore movie buff, it's my offering to the real truth seekers out there. We're all a little different and we all have our own things to offer. Anyway, let's get started on this list. Got a whole lot of good stuff here. In Diamonds Are Forever, while searching for a villain, James Bond finds himself in an underground area where the moon landings are being staged. The film Top of the Heap includes a fantasy sequence in which the lead character imagines he is an astronaut participating in the hoaxing of a moon landing in a film studio. The movie Capricorn 1 has nothing to do with going to the moon, but in the film, NASA fakes a mission to Mars, which is essentially the same thing, and something that they will be doing in the near future. But since Stanley Kubrick is dead, and James Cameron and Ridley Scott are getting pretty old, they will probably use J.J. Abrams or Michael Bay, something like that, who knows. The Shining, which takes place in the fictional town of Sidewinder, Colorado, doesn't mention or show the faked moon landing, but this list would not be complete without it. The Shining was Stanley Kubrick's way of admitting that he was responsible for filming and directing the moon landing hoax using techniques from his popular movie 2001: A Space Odyssey. The most notable technique is front screen projection. Watch the documentary called Room 237 for a better understanding. Fun fact, the carpet in The Shining was also used in Sid's house on Toy Story. Not to mention the numerous references to Room 237 in Toy Story 3. One when Woody is using the computer, another one on a garbage truck, and another on the cameras used in the daycare center. It even says Overlook. That's the name of the hotel, Overlook Hotel, Room 237. Here's a scene from the 1992 movie Sneakers.
Okay, boss. This LTX-71 concealable mic is part of the same system that NASA used when they faked the Apollo moon landings. Yeah, the astronauts broadcast around the world from a soundstage at Norton Air Force Base in San Bernardino, California, so work for them. Shouldn't give us too many problems. Thanks.
I'm sure everybody is familiar with this popular line from the movie Coneheads. And take note that it's Dan Aykroyd again, just like the last one, Sneakers.
Good morning, parental units.
Dawn greetings, young one.
What would you like for consumables? Pop-Tarts, chicken embryos, seasoned patties of ground animal flesh?
I'm not really hungry. Just some Tang.
Ah, Tang, the drink the astronauts took to the moon.
Astronauts to the moon.
King of the Hill, Season 2, Episode 12. Dale is the wacky conspiracy theorist of the show, and here he brings up the moon landing, which was obviously fake, but ruins it by comparing it to something completely ridiculous, a common tactic used to discredit something real.
I'm playing God. Well, maybe we ought to ask God who's going to win the Super Bowl.
Going to win. The game was pre-taped 6 months ago in the same Nevada hangar where they faked the moon landing.
Yeah, man, it's like that dang old Capricorn 1, man. It's a good movie, but, you know, they ain't going to fake no stand on the ground like that. They don't Neil Armstrong.
Nice reference to Capricorn 1 by Boomhauer. The TV show News Radio, Season 4, Episode 17, has Jimmy James pretending to fly a hot air balloon around the world, but was filming the whole thing inside of a TV studio. Lisa finds out and calls him out on it.
So did you recover from your mission?
Almost. Still got a little sand in my shorts.
Mr. James, I'm sorry. I don't know how to tell you this, but I'm not going to be able to keep quiet about this.
Oh, come on, Lisa, it's not such a big deal.
Yes, it is.
Hey, it's not like I was faking the Apollo moon landing or anything. Now that was a big deal.
What?
Nothing, I gotta go.
Here's one from The Late Show with David Letterman, when he had Gillian Anderson come on to do the top 10 list of things your government doesn't want you to know. Number 3 is the one we're looking at here.
Number 4.
The entire Cuban Missile Crisis was staged by Jerry Springer.
Yeah. Number 3.
Pero Through a navigational error, Neil Armstrong actually landed in Wilmington, Delaware.
In the pilot episode of ITV's sitcom Believe Nothing, an Illuminati think tank type council kills one of their members after stating, "We faked the moon landing, but their caterers can't supply a decent prune Danish."
What is it this time, Councillor Nabish?
Well, I don't want to make waves, but we have got to do something about these caterers. We faked the moon landings, for Christ's sake. Is it too much to expect a decent prune Danish with my double decaf macchiato? I mean, hello.
Goodbye.
On Friends, Season 9, Episode 8, Joey accidentally misses an important work function and needs to come up with a good lie, so he asks Phoebe.
Hey, everybody! Happy Thanksgiving!
Hey, happy Thanksgiving, Phoebes.
Hey, what's going on, Joe?
I need a good lie.
Oh, okay. How about the whole man walking on the moon thing, you know?
In the video game Grand Theft Auto Vice City, there's a studio set up like a moon landing scene. In Looney Tunes Back in Action, when Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck are in Area 52, they browse at some videotapes, and one of the videotapes says, "Moon landing dress rehearsal." America by Rammstein, official music video. Season 7, Episode 13 of That 70s Show, muddying the waters and making the real conspiracy sound terrible while putting it in plain sight.
I think you guys are overreacting. There's no way the government would park a car right outside my house. Foreman, anything you think the government's not doing, they are doing. The only thing they didn't do is land the man on the moon. No. Spielberg shot the entire thing on a Hollywood movie set. That's why we got the job for Jaws.
Family Guy, Season 4, Episode 4, has this part during a flashback.
We'll turn this place into a karaoke bar. Oh man, that's the best idea since they faked the moon landing.
Okay, cut.
Wow, Neil Armstrong. Hey, wait a minute. You're supposed to be on the moon. I just saw it on TV.
Oh, there's a tape delay and with all solar winds.
And also, on Season 2, Episode 9, when Peter comes clean about not having healing powers.
Stop worshiping me! I'm just a big fake! Like the moon landing!
A video game from 2005 called Area 51 has a moon landing set. In the movie RV from 2006 with Robin Williams, there's this scene.
Now what do we do? Hey, I know. Let's go to the beach and go surfing. Wait a minute, I forgot. We're not in Hawaii. We're where NASA faked the moon landing.
Here's a clip from the Colbert Report from July 27th, 2006.
And here's the Smithsonian Institute's Air and Space Museum, where you can see the original rocks from the soundstage where they faked the moon landing. It's a piece of Hollywood history.
Red Bull commercial from 2006.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Oh boy. Houston, we have a problem.
Oh, jeez. You drank a Red Bull. Red Bull gives you wings.
What should we do?
Well, nothing. Come back to Earth and we'll shoot the whole thing in a studio.
Okay.
Washington Mutual commercial called Parking Garage.
Psst, Bill! Hey, guys.
We've heard murmurings about WAMU credit cards.
Oh, yeah, you get free online access to your credit score, and if it changes, we'll let you know.
William, some information is better kept secret. Otherwise, what's next?
We tell the public who was on the grassy knoll.
What?
Or where the moon landing was staged?
The thing was staged.
Bill, sometimes you're so naive.
Free monthly online credit scores with the WAMU credit card.
Sleep well, Bill.
On National Treasure Part 2, the moon landing is brought into question because the answer as to what really happened is in the President's Book of Secrets, which they have yet to find in the movie.
Chapter 13.
The President's Secret Book?
The President's Secret Book. It happens to be a collection of documents for presidents, by presidents, and for presidents' eyes only. And I'm not just talking about JFK here, guys. The 18.5 missing minutes of the Watergate tapes. Did the Apollo really land on the moon? Did it? Did it?
In the TV show My Name is Earl, Crabman, or Darnell, mentions the moon landing hoax a couple of times. Once on Season 2, Episode 19.
Poor Randy. You can edit film to make people think all kinds of things. Like the moon landing. That was all done with puppets in my uncle's garage.
And again on Season 3, Episode 9.
PBS! Ray, how the hell would I get PBS when I'm pregnant? Oh, it's a channel. Oh, hold on. Okay, I found it. He's listening. Dipstick and Dum Dum wanting a baby to listen to some stupid show about the moon landing.
Alleged moon landing. Keep the receiver covered while I give this baby the opposing point of view. Consider this, little man. In the footage, you'll notice shadows from divergent sources.
This baby's already smart, Darnell. He just turned around so you're talking to his butt.
Of course, Crabman is the dumb conspiracy theorist worthy of ridicule. The TV show American Dad, Season 4, Episode 7.
Folks, it's an honor for me to be working in this studio. This is the very soundstage where we faked the moon landing. And the JFK assassination. No, I'm sorry, this is where we planned the JFK assassination.
One of several World of Warcraft commercials featuring Mr. T.
Some suckers think my Night Elf Mohawk is a hoax, like jackalopes or the moon landing. Well, it ain't. So I'm hunting them down with my latest invention, the Mohawk grenade.
In the Futurama movie, Into the Wild Green Yonder, Fry reads Nixon's thoughts, and here's what he says.
The one secret no one ever suspected is that I really did stage the moon landing. On Venus!
The TV show Leverage, Season 2, Episode 5.
We totally went to the moon.
Movie sets. I've seen them. They're outside of Albuquerque.
Why would there still be sets there?
Because they're gonna reuse them for the Mars mission. Repaint it all red.
Doctor Who, Season 7, Episode 12, starts off in an amusement park with a moon landing scene.
Well, here we are, Hedgewick's World, the biggest and best amusement park there will ever be. And we've got a golden ticket, eh? Fun.
Fun? The stupid box can't even get us to the right place. This is like a moon base or something.
Well, it's not the moon.
Actually, I think it does look like the moon, only dirtier.
Hey, guys, it's not the moon, okay? It's the Spacey Zoomer ride, or it was.
Season 7, Episode 11 of the show 30 Rock.
This is Studio 6H. You know what's been shot on this stage? TGS, the Joey Montero show, The Lovebirds?
And the moon landing. Right this way.
Season 4, Episode 4, Arrested Development.
Hey, let's go inside the LAM. You want to?
Wow, is this the one that landed on the moon?
On a soundstage.
Oh, right, from Apollo 13.
No, 1969. I'll tell you about it inside the LAM. It's soundproof in there.
the official music video for On Top of the World by Imagine Dragons. It's jam-packed full of Stanley Kubrick and Shining symbolism, along with Freemasonry stuff, and it shows the band performing on the moon landing stage. In the cinematic universe of the movie Interstellar, it's a fact written in the textbooks that the Apollo missions were a hoax.
She always loved the pictures.
It's an old federal textbook. We've replaced them with the corrected versions.
Corrected?
Explaining how the Apollo missions were fake to bankrupt the Soviet Union.
You don't believe we went to the moon?
I believe it was a brilliant piece of propaganda that the Soviets bankrupted themselves, pouring resources into rockets and other useless machines.
In the kids' movie Minions, there's a part of a montage that shows a moon landing being staged. Also, in another scene, we have that floor again from The Shining. And something I find interesting is that the company that makes these movies is called Illumination and never fails to show their one-eyed minion in the intros. Drop the O in and you got Illuminati. The movie Moonwalkers, one of my personal favorites, it takes place in 1969 and has someone pretending to be Stanley Kubrick and then struggling with faking the moon landing. Highly recommended. And here we are. Operation Avalanche just came out the other day. I watched it. It was awesome. In 1967, during the height of the Cold War, 2 young CIA agents go undercover at NASA to investigate a possible Russian mole. In disguise as documentary filmmakers, they tap phones and break into offices while purporting to learn more about the Apollo project. But what they end up uncovering is, you guessed it, the moon landing was staged. I'll leave it at that, but definitely check this one out. As of now, it's the latest in a long line of truth about the moon landing hoax in plain sight. So, did we land on the moon? Well, that's it for this one. The TV shows, movies, video games, and music videos are doing exactly what the Tavistock Institute designed them to do. Muddy the waters, make truth seekers look crazy, all the while putting the truth out in the open for all to see. What can I say? This is what they do. Some of you know what I'm talking about. As for the rest of you, keep doing honest research and you'll see.
And talk about the things that interested us most, in particular the things that occurred on and about the moon. We will use a number of films and slides which most of you have already seen, with the intent of pointing out some of the things that we observed on the spot, which may not be obvious to those of you who are looking at them here from the surface of Earth.
Masonic moon. Plans were made by the
the bankers in the back room. Get the president out of the way and hire Stanley Kubrick. Under the Masonic moon. Under the Masonic moon. Everyone hoped that the boys would come home soon. One more day and they'll drop from the plane and splash into the ocean. Under the Masonic moon. Werner von Braun and his conspirators got a free ride to the States. They turned Nazi into NASA. They just couldn't wait. Under the Masonic moon. Under the Masonic moon. Plans were made by the bankers in the back room. The owl sees into the night and the secret will never be told. Under the Masonic moon. Under the Masonic moon. Plans were made by the bankers in the back room. The owl sees into the night and the secret will never be told.
99, proceeded, 3, 2, 1, ignition. Right our way, Houston. Red, good.
The owl sees into the night and the secret will never be told.
Okay, 30 seconds. 308 your number. Okay, coming through 1,500 feet, and H-dot looks good. Right our way, Houston.
Unfortunately, no one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself.